Good evening, everybody. We'll get started here in a minute. This is my latest acquisition. This is called the Audubon the pileated woodpecker. This is from the Double Elephant portfolio. The reason they call it Double Elephant is because this is about 25 inches across and 38 inches down. So they were big, big pictures. I think I've got it. You're going to kind of see what the magnitude of the picture is. So it takes up one good wall space. It was from about 1860. That's called the Bein, E-E-I-N collection, which was terminated or cut short because obviously in 1861 the war started. So that was anyways, they were subscribed to, so each one was hand painted, except the Bein collection was what they called chromatology or something, where a lot of the color could be printed in by itself. But they're good collector items. All right. Oops, I guess we're already past go. All right, as we can see, this is kind of the telling information. Oh, I think, Max, you fix it from your end. There's a little box up on the top of your screen that has the arrows pointing in. That can make it smaller for you. All right, so here was the telling sign. There was our morning star signal. And what makes this more critical was that the stochastics were already back down here in the oversold condition. So anytime, I mean, just observe the obvious. Anytime you see a candlestick buy signal in an oversold condition, the probabilities are pretty strong that they've reversed it. Now, if we also know what our doji sandwich is, we had this big up day, doji. They took it down and brought it back up as a booster bullish day, meaning they sold it off and then the bulls still took control. That told us with that doji sandwich there was probably more upside. So with that consideration or that realization, we have a reversal signal, we've got a doji sandwich indicating there's going to be more upside, that the next likely target was a 50-day moving average. Now, did we anticipate that in one day that Dow could get there? Definitely not. But it put us in the position of knowing we should be long at that point. Same scenario with the S&P, a little bit choppy. I don't know why I can't get the S&P. What day would I have entered? Entered what, John? But what all that was basically telling us is that with this signal right here, we would have started to watch for the reversal. So the next day they took it back down. Didn't look good. It looked like the T-line was going to act as a resistance. But when they took it right back up and closed above the T-line, did a doji, we knew what to expect the next day. However, the next day they took it down. But this is why in the morning comments you heard me say it has to stay down here to tell us the T-line is acting as a resistance. Be careful if they start bringing it back up, especially near the top end of the range. This signal, or this, the Morningstar signal is still the predominant signal. Then the fact that they not only brought it back up to the top of the range or back up through where they opened it and did a bullish candle was just that much more evidence that we were in an uptrend or starting the uptrend. And the NASDAQ with the left-right combo closing above the T-line and this downtrending channel, that if we saw it open positive today, that told us that downtrending channel wasn't acting as resistance anymore, and the left-right combo was confirming, and the fact that they gapped it up today was through this level told us that that was much more compelling strength, that they're probably taking the NASDAQ up to the 50 or the 200, which the implication is we're going to be in for a few more days to the upside. What will it do up here? I have no idea. We watch to see what type of signal occurs at these levels. So we see some of the commodities. Crude oil. As you can see, crude oil was doing also where it did the bobble, came up, failed at the 50. In this case, they pulled back to the T-line area, but seemed to have been supporting on the 20 or on the 3 T-line. And now we've had that slow curve that brought us right back up above the 50. We went long today because after a hammer signal, stochastics heading up, a little T-line crunch, they were telling us the 50 is not acting as a resistance anymore. So we're long right now. Same scenario with coffee. You can see the pattern that was developing in coffee. Slow fry pan bottom. And then over here, it was kind of in a little wedge formation. They couldn't get through this resistance level. And this is why you shouldn't have the, fear or ego problem of closing out when something doesn't look good. Yesterday, closed out this position because it was trading back down here, which told us that they weren't going up anymore. But then when it reversed and came back up through the open, we bought back the position. So even though we closed out here, we bought back here. As you can see, that's taken well made up for that the potential profit we didn't make or the loss we took. And then today, where were we on Friday? Closing right at the 50. But if they came up through, that pretty much told us our uptrend was now in progress. So again, this isn't any great picking of trends. It's just telling you when you start seeing things that tell you there's a change of investor sentiment going on. This is cocoa. We can see in cocoa when it did break down through the T-line, it's been in a downtrend. To where our stochastics have gotten back to the oversold condition, and what type of patterns are we seeing? We're starting to see a lot of indecision here. So you can go long cocoa on the basis that we have a T-line, but if it came back up through today's high in tomorrow's trading, at least we know they're probably bouncing it for a trade back up to the T-line. So again, this is knowing that you're in the oversold area, and we're starting to, after a big downtrend, we're starting to see a doji and a few dojis. That's telling you there's indecision down here. Get ready for a reversal. So again, that fry pan bottom is one of the patterns that basically tell you what's about to happen. Anytime you start seeing these fry pan bottoms, start watching to see what's coming out the other side. This is JMEL. RAI was another one. I don't know whether that was a good, but you can see this one, that's kind of a bad chart to try to show on here. Valero, another fry pan bottom. What started the uptrend? An inverted hammer. Harami, next day open positive, starts the uptrend. And what did it do here? Broke out through the resistance level, telling you there's probably going to be more upside. So a few of these, the reason I like to trade off the patterns is because not only do they have a high probability of working, but when they do work, they're usually going to be more excessive in their price move than just a regular uptrending stock during an uptrend. This one is CPG. This one's Icon. this a little bit smaller. You can see a big bottoming action, then a slow curve, and you close right smack dab on the 50. If this opens positive, you've got a good possibility coming up and filling this gap. So again, when you see the patterns, it's usually a setup for things that usually work consistently as far as human nature is concerned. There's MFLX, big fry pan bottom. Notice the T-line crunch. Then they gap it up. This implies there's still a lot more upside in this one. And I know MYMX, NYMX. Here's your kind of your fry pan bottom. Now notice where it's come back to. Your J-hook type pattern with a Morningstar signal right here. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow, because that would tell you they are confirming the Morningstar signal that bounced smack dab off the 50-day moving average. A positive open would tell us the T-line is not acting as resistance, and the whole pattern would tell us you got a fry pan bottom, J-hook classic. That could be a big percentage move from this level. Vivus has a slow curve, but if it starts breaking out, your next target is the 200-day moving average. So the nice thing about knowing what a fry pan bottom looks like just allows you to make assessments of not only what will be a good, strong price move, but how long do you hold a position coming out of a fry pan bottom. You basically stay long as it doesn't close below the T-line. All right, so there's a lot of good-looking charts. So a lot of these I have examples to show salient points. For example, we bought ITCI today on the positive trading. It pulled back, and a lot of people were nervous. But notice where it closed, right back up here, right about where it opened. If it opens positive tomorrow, you definitely want to be buying this one. For the point, or for the reason that you can see the, first of all, you can see the buying. There's your kind of your Morningstar signal. There's another doji sandwich type setup that came up through the T-line. A positive open would create another doji sandwich potential, which would tell us our J-hook pattern is in progress. Oh man, no wonder there's would you then wait for the end of the day? Oops, I missed these questions. Did you buy options? Oh, for this one, Lori? Yes, I did. Oh, I don't know what the symbols for oh, I don't remember which ones I bought. Guess we can find out. Bought the 45s. Which haven't come back to where I bought them yet. A slow curve and a fry pan bottom usually occurs at the bottom of a trend. A slow curve usually is during an uptrend, and then it kind of pulls back as a slow curve. I'll try to show examples of it, John. Okay, paid $2.45 for them. All right, thank you. I think they closed at $1.60. So I only bought 10 with the idea that I could buy more if it showed more strength. I'm buying the Octobers because we're still 2 weeks away. And so I'm buying based upon what's happening right now. Okay, INFI. there's kind of your slow curve right here. Notice you're in an uptrend, it consolidates, look at the little slow curve, and then it popped. So we've been in INFI, that's been a good kind of slow curve, wave 3 in progress. And notice what it did when it got here. It gapped up through the resistance level. And then this is what we call kind of our double doji, even though these are hammers, 2 indecisive days, and the third day, they pop it back up again. It is from the T-line, but remember, we're buying the pattern, which is a breakout. So it might it may stay away from the T-line for a little bit here, but that just gives you more reason to watch to see if there's any sell signals. Yeah, just be a little bit more cautious when you're that far away from the T-line. Slow curve is based upon the shape of the candles, yes. This little slow curve right here. Again, we're buying price, we're not buying the moving averages. And notice how it kind of sat right on the T-line also. Let's see what else. Oh, we've been long PVG for a few days because it did a little kicker type signal, J-hook pattern, and ever since it did that, it hasn't been able to get back below the T-line. But here's a case where there isn't anything telling you it's breaking out up here, so you are moving a little bit excessively away from the T-line, and you're in the overbought condition. So I'll start taking profits if I start seeing any type of potential sell signal. And so let's say tomorrow it does a doji. I hate when that thing happens. Does a doji right in here. Up this far away from the T-line in the overbought area, I might take off half the position at that point. I'll definitely have a stop right here. It shouldn't come back down through that level if the bulls are in control and there isn't any profit taking going on. So there's a few more, let's see, that have been acting well because of the pattern breakout. You can see this was kind of your J-hook pattern and kind of a wee little mini scoop here. So this one's acting well. Notice what it did today. It broke out through the resistance level with a doji gap up. My voice echoes. Oh, man. Sam, make sure you're not in here twice. Nope, you aren't. So that means, Sam, you just have the echoes. That means you might have to log off and log back on real quick. Everybody gets the echo every now and then. So look at the same pattern here on STRP. This one you get ready to buy on positive trading, telling you the next move probably to the top of the channel is in progress. Tenga was one that showed us that the bullish engulfing signal also had a little booster below it, and then it's gapped up today. So I would suspect your first target right now is the 50-day moving average. But remember, anytime you see a left-right combo, a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal, you just, and then they confirm, that's a very strong reversal. John, no, not, they will, but remember, we're playing price, the intrinsic price of some of these stocks right now, which means there won't be a whole lot of premium built into the options. I mean, if you want to be safer, you can go out to November or trade a weekly that might be 3 weeks out. But I usually trade the closest ones because I'm trading the price. I'm not trading something that's slow moving. Yeah, usually if I'm buying something, I'm usually staying just slightly in the money or at the money, not trying to buy anything too far out of the money at this point. And I've got a whole, as a matter of fact, it's what I've been working on nights, is putting a whole demonstration on which options do you look at based upon how much time you have to expiration and what type of patterns you're looking at. Okay, good to have you back, Sam. It will be where when I get it done with it. There are some option training videos. Right now, what I'm doing is waiting for or putting together the more, I guess, refined or more detailed explanations of which options to use for particular patterns. Here's another scoop pattern setting up. Notice your bullish engulfing signal right off the 50, now a close above the T line. So you can see you have a flat handle. That could cause a good slingshot effect to the upside. That is AKBA. PLAB is something that you can consider both on a short-term basis and a longer-term basis, meaning you've got the nice steady eddy. And notice the type of pattern you had. This is what we call the message. It gapped up. Even though it sold off, that was profit taking. What we all look for after that is when the profit taking's over. There's your bullish harami, and then your uptrend. And what type of a pattern do we expect after this? That 45 degree, which we can stay long until we see a sell signal and a close back below the T line. Now they've come back up above the T line, doing a wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3 should be a nice steady eddy, somewhat the same as what wave 1 was. WABA was a one that has a pattern set up, J-hook pattern. It opened higher and traded off today, but you still watch this one. Now this one's actually showing a bearish candle. Some of the other charting services show basically a doji. But if this opens positive and starts trading positive tomorrow, you want to be buying because you're going to have a nice breakout. You should move back up into the $21, $22 area. And Omar, there's kind of your little scoop type pattern. Another one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading, a doji sandwich breakout, making the 50 your first target, the 200 your next target. And BABA, yeah, these are all kind of, BABA has the left-right combo with the doji today. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive, we've got essentially the potential of another doji sandwich, which means if this day and this day is the same, it could take you right up to the 50-day moving average very quickly. Okay, because crude oil starting to show this type of pattern, a lot of the oils are starting to show some strength again. There's that. This is what I'd call the slow curve, because this would be my fry pan bottom, the big bottoming action. This would be the slow curve, which would be part of that. Usually my 10 positions, if they're in a major portfolio, probably my option positions in my option trading account, yes, would also include those same positions. Now, if I've got an option trading account, which moves around obviously a lot faster than stock positions, I may not have 10 option positions on at any one time. It might be a smaller number, like 6. Okay, what did I just do? All right, so this one, and for long-term investors, you might want to start looking at whiting again, because there's a slow curve left-right, and it broke out through the 50. You might be able to hold this for the next 3 months and have it head up to the $30 area, giving you a good 50%, 55% profitability off of that position. Okay, now I'm going to go down the next. Gold apparently is picking up some steam. Nugget, also has that slow curve, kind of your trend kicker signal right here, which is usually a strong indication that the strength is in this trend. Now they've broken out through this level, might be right at this level. So any positive trading from here, you want to be buying. What did I do? I did Nugget, JNUG, kind of the same scenario, broke through the 50, got this downtrend, which is right where it's sitting. If this opens positive, you can be buying. Let's see, I don't know if I have a target on Nugget. It's just now ready to move up into, probably the first target is right here. And if it gets through there, you've got all the way up to the 200-day moving average. So when there's not really a target to pinpoint, your scenario should be you stay long until you see a sell signal. Let's see. The scoop patterns are working. There's L brands. There's your scoop pattern. So if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and this is your scoop, figure this wave and this wave will be the same. So that was about a 15-point move. That could take you up into about the $110 range. XNPT was one that David L. pointed out. And the reason this is so good looking is you got the doji, best friend gap up. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one as long as you stay above the T line. Oh, Bud, I think everybody else is getting slides. You might need to log off real quick and log right back on. Let's see. Somebody was requesting shop earlier, and that has a good-looking chart. There's your your J-hook pattern. Notice what you did today. You had a big shooting star. Now that would be a sell signal if you were in the overbought condition, but you're not. So watch this carefully. If they open this positive tomorrow, you want to be buying immediately because that tells you today's profit taking is over. When do you use a 20-day moving average? Usually you use a 20-day moving average when the trend is steady and extensive, which means they can't get the price back down to the 50, so they use the 20. So the 20 usually comes more effective after a trend becomes kind of a steady Eddie type trend for a while. And so this one was to illustrate again your best friend signal when you have a doji followed by a gap up. That's what you kind of expect. We also saw that starting on MPEL with your doji gap up. I would suspect in a couple of days we're going to have this back to the 50, and that was somewhat the same reason for buying Win, because you had your kind of your little doji gap up kicker type signal. So we went long. Anytime I see a kicker signal, I'll try to buy immediately. And so they did a doji today. If they open this positive, there's a good possibility they're going to take it up strong again. But right now, the worst case scenario would be if they open this positive, worst case will be you're in a 45 degree from here. A kicker signal is when you see, in this case, you had a downtrend. It opened here and closed here, created a dark candle. The next day, they opened it at or above the previous day's open and went positive. Basically kicked the investor sentiment in the opposite direction. That's your strongest reversal signal of all the candlesticks. And so we saw that also in Las Vegas Sands. Both of these were involved in whatever the Chinese did. See the kicker signal here? Produced a good strong move over the last couple of days for Las Vegas Sands. And that was our reason for recommending CAMP today, because CAMP had that kicker signal. when it opened positive, it told us this uptrend was still in progress. Ralph Lauren, that was kind of your doji best friend, little kicker type signal, but notice what happens after a big move. Usually you're going to be in a 45 degree. Camp, I have no idea what the target will be. Whoops. I don't know. We're not anywhere near the overbought area. We've got strong kicker signal. I'm just holding this until I see a sell signal. And some of them, Sean, yes, but still there's no indications that there's going to be profit taking. Probably two, because these did a kicker signal on yesterday. They were already doing a kicker signal when the market was trading down here. Now the market's starting to trade positive after some of these signals or some of these kicker signals have had good moves. There's no reason for investor sentiment to change on them. They may just continue. Remember, the expectation after a kicker signal is a very good, strong uptrend. Weight Watchers, the reason this looks so good is you got that Morningstar signal at the end of a flat trading area, which also acts like a mini scoop. And when you add the elements that your indecisive day, the doji day, hit right smack dab on the 50 and then came back up today through the T-line, that tells me more than likely this bottom trend channel and this top trend channel are in progress. Here's somewhere up here is your next target. Let me see. There's another slow curve breakout, possible doji sandwich, which means if it opens positive, even if you're a day trader, these become high probability trades that if it opens positive, you could have a move all the way up to the 200, same magnitude as this. So that would tell you when to get in, and if it came up here to the 200, you watch your 10-minute chart to see if that's the target. If you start seeing the 10-minute chart turn over, you take your profits at that point. EFOI, not quite a little kicker signal, but you had your doji gap up today. I would suspect your first target is the 50. Your second target is here, and if it breaks through there, you got a good possibility of coming back up and filling the gap. So there's a lot of upside potential in this one. And once gave you the message today, which was the big move up, a pullback, the profit taking. Now you watch to see when the profit taking is over, because more than likely you're going to be coming out as a 45 degree off of here. And Navistar, the one simple rule of candlesticks is the bigger the signal, the more likely there's been a change of investor sentiment. Big Morningstar signal, close above the T-line. I would suspect your next target is the 50, might be a strong 45 degree to get there. And TROX, little kind of cradle pattern, scoop pattern down here. Another one that I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading, telling me this downtrending channel is broken with a bullish engulfing signal after a little series of a couple dojis. Positive trading would break this level, making the 50-day moving average your next target. So that becomes a substantial move. That looks like about a 35-40% move to get up to that level. And that's the type of price move I'm looking for, is something that's not going to be a 4% move, but something more looks like a 40% move. There's your slow curve again, just a slow curve on true. And where did it close today? Above the downtrending 50. You want to be buying this one on any positive trading. Let's see, I guess I moved from, here's your kicker signal. the other day in BG where it opened here and closed here. The next day they opened it above where they opened the previous day and went the opposite direction. So on these, all you have to do is stay long as you don't see it close back below the T line. And AMCN was one that we had bought because it came out of this fry pan bottom. All we have to do right now is just stay long as it stays above the T line. I sold this morning and then bought using the 10-minute chart. Where do you put a stop on this? I sold this morning and then bought using the 10-minute chart. I probably wouldn't want to see it close back down in this range. That would tell me they're back into the trading range. Definitely want to see it open positive or do an indecisive day and start trading positive. No, the message doesn't necessarily have to be Harami. It could be a little doji, it could be a little hammer, and then basically telling us that the selling has stopped. Then you watch for the buying to come back in. So many good-looking charts, Helen. Yes, and that's the whole process of candlesticks, is to figure out which ones have the strongest charts. Now, all boats are going to rise in a rising tide. What we're looking for is the boats are going to rise a lot faster than the normal boats in a rising tide. So there's still lots of good-looking charts that that might have a scoop action, and the reason we want to stick with the ones that are coming out of fry pan bottoms is because we know that coming out of a fry pan bottom you get a good strong price move. So that's why you want to constantly learn the there's only about 6 or 8 patterns that you need to be aware of in candlesticks. So what we're trying to do is find the ones that have the biggest percentage moves. There's our little cradle pattern with a gap up today, an SUNE. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on the basis that your next target is back up here to the 50, which would give you about a good 30% move to the upside. Yes, that's the whole point of using candlesticks visualization, is they gapped it up, people were taking profits, but the message was they gapped it up. So that's why we use this as the message. Now what we look for is when that profit taking is over, and then the completion of that message, which is somebody's starting to come in to buy this with great strength. So we're waiting for the profit taking to be over so that strength will continue. Okay, I think that's about it for tonight. There are a lot of good-looking charts, mainly due to the fact that this market has turned. Now we have to see whether they can get the 50 through, or the Dow through the 50. But the reason I would think there's still more upside is because the S&P and the NASDAQ have strong buy signals. Their stochastics are still way down here. There's probably a few more days to the upside to test these moving averages. So, I missed out on, there are times when charts or industry doesn't necessarily have good charts. For example, right now we can see soybeans are just kind of moving sideways. I wouldn't know whether to be long or short here. Same thing with wheat. Wheat is a slow uptrend, but it's very slow. I don't know what this is. I probably wouldn't be trading long on this one just because it's, even though it's already had its good move and it's up in the overbought condition. But that doesn't mean that all the charts in that sector, or let's say in the grains, this looks a lot more compelling. Corn looks like it's got the T-line crunch going, but I'd be more apt to be buying this one on strength. The US dollar Guess I didn't do those, did I? US dollar, I wouldn't be long or short right now. It's junky. Can't tell which way it's going. What is the best way to learn futures? Shyami, I'll try to do a futures night, and it's not anything different than trading stocks. It's just trading a different entity. Gold, this is what gold looks like. It's still kind of sideways. So the things like Nugget and those type of things are showing good, strong charts, which means the gold stocks have probably consolidated and leveled out based upon gold pulling back for a while. No, 10 has still got kind of that scoop type pattern, but now what you try to do is analyze it. If they open this positive, you use the 50. Remember, whenever they break through a resistance level, they usually come back and test it to see if it's going to act as support. All right, before we get into the individual stocks, is there any general questions on candlesticks? Okay, if not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. Try to keep your request to 2 so we can get everybody in. And Jim, in 3.1 seconds, do the next double line. Kroger, you can start buying this. There's that slow curve. And it's looking like it's trying to break out through this level. It may not have a real prolific move, but this is what it did last year or last few months. Had that nice steady eddy for quite a while. So now you've gone through, I have to make this chart a lot smaller to see the fact that it's gone through kind of a sideways consolidation area. Now get ready to buy it. I'd be more apt to buy. If you're buying it here, you got to be a little bit more nimble. You want to see it break through this level to tell you the next wave is in progress. WG, that's a good looking chart. Just make sure your volume is good. I would suspect now they're popping it toward the 200-day moving average. You can see your kind of fry pan bottom, cup and handle, double cup and handle setup. CRK, same scenarios. Coming off this few dojis, bullish engulfing, broke this downtrend. I would think they're trying to bring it back up to the 200-day moving average. RJet, big move, 45 degree. Very simple. You just stay long as you don't see it close back below the T-line. Cala, you can be buying this one on the scoop pattern breakout. Next target is probably in this range. Possible eventual target all the way up to the 200-day moving average. Intel, J-hook pattern. I'd watch this because this move here and this move here would be about the same. I just watch to see what it does once it gets to the 200. And Micron did the this trend kicker. Make this big enough where we can see it. Notice how it opened here and closed here. The next day they gapped it up and moved it in this direction. All you can do right now is stay long on Micron. Lucent, all you can do really here is stay long as it stays above the T-line. SLW, the Silver Wheaton, that broke out nicely. If you're long, you stay long, just use the T-line as your stop. AEM, You're here at the 200, obviously, with stochastics near the overbought area. So this is where you watch to see what's happening. If they can't get up through the 200, expect a bobble, which means they're going to bring it back down to the T-line and then try it again. So if this started trading lower tomorrow, I'd take profits, and then you just put a buy stop up above the 200. If it comes back up through there, the profit taking is over. So you gave up a little bit of potential profit, but you stayed out of a situation where you may have been in a big profit-taking move for the next 4 or 5 days. Facebook, you can be buying as long as it stays above the T-line. Netflix came up through the 50 today. You can stay long on this one. Whiting, I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one right now, expecting it next target eventually to be up toward the 200-day moving average. And Apple, nothing here yet to get real excited about. Apple would be one of the ones I wouldn't be trading right now. Wayfair, you can buy this if it opens tomorrow, telling you that the 50 is not acting as resistance. You can see how it kind of hung right here on the T-line. You can buy this one on positive trading. Foot Locker, another one you can buy on positive trading. You had the hammer gap up. You're sitting right at the T-line. Very simple. If it opens positive, it's telling you that it's confirming the bullish pattern or signals, and it's telling you the T-line is not acting as resistance anymore. IBB is not really acting so poorly. I mean, that was just some consolidation. Got to remember, it's already had a nice move, and it didn't close below the T-line. I'd expect more upside. MEI, slow curve. You can be buying this one with the expectation they're taking it up to the 200-day moving average. That slow curve gives you a very good prospect that if they open up positive tomorrow, you can be buying immediately. ATVI, another J-hook pattern in progress. If this opens positive, you have a potential of another doji sandwich, which means they close it up here, same magnitude as this candle, which also tells you that this resistance level is not acting as resistance. Your J-hook pattern's in progress. Senta, J-hook pattern. All you can do with this is stay long as it stays above the T-line. Tazar, little scoop type pattern. If you're buying this one tomorrow, you just be very cognizant of what goes on at the 50, which is also the scoop pattern handle. You can buy it with the idea that if it fails here, you close it out, or you can wait until it goes through the 50. Then you know that your scoop is now breaking out. Still wouldn't do anything with CANF. You should be out of this one. Still trading below the T-line. DXM. Ooh. 24 cents. You can be buying this one. You just want to make sure there's a heck of a lot of stock being traded in it at that price. FXC, stay long. Use the probably the 50 as your stop until the T-line gets up above it. QSR, nothing yet. Wouldn't be in this one until you see a buy signal that gets confirmed by coming up through the T-line. And CRZO, that one is confirming. That one I would now look for the 200-day moving average to be your next target. Amazon acted well today. This one you can be buying, kind of your J-hook pattern in progress. And we did Netflix. Good evening, Victor. Is that a little, let's see, I'm colorblind enough that you can be buying this one. Just basically telling you supporting off the 50, but as long as it stays above the T-line now, you're probably going to have another steady eddy. ZFPH, stay long. There's your scoop pattern. There's your bounce off the 50 area. You stay long on this one, and as long as it stays above the T-line. Disney, not your most prolific trader, but if you like it, you can stay long. You just be aware of what it does once it gets back up to the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Another one that should be bouncing up to the 50 also. Again, with the market's conditions, there's probably at least another day or two to the upside. Here's your SPY telling you there's probably another day yet to get back up to the 50. So if you see it run up there real quick in the morning, then you have to watch your 10-minute chart to see if there's any profit taking going on. Can you tell me which candlestick pattern is the strongest? Oh, Tressa, I've done a video kind of quantifying them all, starting with the best friend. So there's about 18 kind of put in order. Yeah, you're probably better off watching that. Tesla still can't get up above the T-line. I wouldn't be trying to go long on this one just yet. I'd go long if it came back up through the 200, I'm sorry, the 50, because that would basically tell me the bullish engulfing signals, stochastics at the lower end, now they're confirming, but it'd have to get up through that level to tell me the bulls have taken control. Yahoo, look for a doji sandwich on a positive open tomorrow. ConocoPhillips, stay long on this one. It's not a very big percentage mover, but it's heading in the bullish direction. Mobley, another one where if it comes up, especially through today's open, you want to be a buyer, with the first target now being, again, the 50-day moving average. GPro, didn't even look at GPro today. Still nothing there. Still below the T-line. Wouldn't be real excited about this one. AMBA. AMBA's right on the T-line. If you're looking to buy AMBA, it can be bought on a positive open tomorrow, your doji sandwich breakout. And Moss, another one that can be bought on positive trading after kind of the piercing signal gap up. There's at least know that your first target's here to fill this gap, then your second target at the handle at the 50-day moving average. SQNM. Low price stock still. Yeah, I wouldn't be in this one. You had the shooting star type formation yesterday that failed, coming back down below the T-line, and a bearish engulfing that failed right at the 50-day moving average. I say T-line through the 50. I wouldn't be in this one right now. Goog, as long as Goog stays above the T-line, the markets are going to stay relatively strong, or vice versa. The dimples basically aren't important. They just act as a measuring device to tell you if you're about halfway through that pattern. So if you can see the length of time that it took to get to the dimple, you can pretty well calculate how much time it will be for the breakout after the dimple. CSIQ, stay long on this one. Watch to see what it does once it gets to the 50. Las Vegas Sands, I would suspect they're going to take this all the way up to the 50. That's coming off the kicker signal. And ACET, you can get ready to buy this one. Notice the dojis, left-right combo, little consolidation. I'd use today's open as a buy stop. If it came up through there, kind of the J-hook pattern is still in progress. IBM, usually don't trade it because it's so slow a mover, but you had the piercing signal gap up. Just watch to see if they can get it through the 50. Wynn has been acting very well, made lots of money on the calls on this one over the last couple of days. Just looking to see if they can bring this or on a positive open tomorrow. See if they can have another big day to the upside. Did I forget EEFT? Just stay long as it stays above the T line. Las Vegas Sands also had the little kicker signal. Just stay long until you see a sell signal. Bidu, another one that if it opens positive, the doji sandwich should take you through the 50. So you just watch to see if it opens positive what they do once they get to the 50, which is a lot more easily identifiable using the 10-minute chart. Palo Alto, yes, another doji sandwich potential, which would, this type of day would tell you that this downtrending channel was being broken. National Oil, you can buy this one on positive trading. Piercing signal, gap up through the 50. Oh, David, that's yeah, there's a whole list, a whole book of those. Just go to our website and go to the candlestick signals. You got 6 bullish signals and 6 bearish signals. And they work more effectively, obviously, when they're in the overbought or oversold condition. There's another little kicker signal on the gold, junior gold. Just stay long on this one. Keurig. Let's make this bigger. Keurig left-right combo doji. Look for a doji sandwich. Another day trade. If it opens positive, the doji sandwich should take you right up to the 50. Yeah, I'm kind of messing that up, Shy. I'll just call you Shy, because that way I don't mess up too bad. NVDA, another one where you just stay long until you see a sell signal. You're in the overbought condition. Nothing telling you there's any selling, but a good safety net is to put your stop at today's open, because if it came back down through there, that would tell you the profit taking has started. Let's see, nice big breakout on CEVA. Look for a 45 degree off of this one. A nice little scoop pattern, Morningstar signal, J-hook type pattern. I'd be a buyer of this one with the expectation you're in another trend like this. Oops. The XX. The VIX heading down as the market's heading up. CTSH, this one you stay long. Alcoa. Notice how they kind of wobbled here for a while on the 50, then did a little piercing signal, gap up. Makes your 200-day moving average the next likely target. Netflix, no, that's, yeah, booster usually is a signal. This is just an update with a tail on it. The booster was at the signal by, you had a bullish engulfing signal with a booster to it. So that was occurring right as the signal was being, as the signal was being created. Vince, if you have problems finding it, if you just go to our website, candlestickforum.com, and go up to products and services, there's a whole bunch of training videos there. Win, looking for the doji sandwich tomorrow. Potash. Potash you can get ready to buy, just like MOS. It needs to come back up through today's open to tell you that the profit taking of today is over. And JetBlue, another doji sandwich potential. You buy this on positive trading tomorrow. Just use the T-line as your stop. LinkedIn, you can buy this one on positive trading. Got your left, or wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3, coming up through the 50 a second time. I would suspect the 200 being your target, and filling this gap would be your target. Caterpillar finally gapped up. I'd watch to see it come back up to the 50, which isn't a huge percentage move, maybe 7%. But then at that point, you got to see whether it can get through the 50, which is also this downtrending channel. Does it make a difference for a doji sandwich setups if the doji gives a red or green candle? No, usually the doji's, the body is small. It means indecision. It doesn't really matter whether it's red or green. Another CALD, notice the hammers right off the 50, and now you've broken this little downtrending channel. I'd suspect wave 3 is in progress. Hawaiian Air, you can be buying this one, especially if it opens positive, breaking this level. Then watch to see what it does when it gets to this level. But you can see you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and this is your bullish Harami, right smack dab off the 50-day moving average, telling you that's where the selling is stopped. Okay. Let's see. Can I get the TQQQs over here? Yeah, same as the NASDAQ uptrend. Let's see. Does it make a difference for a doji sandwich setups if the doji gives a red or green candle? No. The body is usually small enough on the doji that the body's insignificant. It's the tails and the small body that tells you there was indecision between the bulls and the bears. And QTS, all you can do here is stay long. Okay, guess we got them all in an hour. So with that, everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat room tomorrow. We'll see you then.